I've never heard a story as crazy as what I'm getting ready to share with you, and a couple of things come to mind off tops about this. When stealing a catalytic converter goes wrong, is there such a thing as the perfect crime? And also, I ain't ever heard nothing as crazy as what I'm getting ready to share with you folks. You know, we've oftentimes joked about the catalytic converters and people being locked up for doing that. But yo, that is definitely something that is still taking place. I'm guessing catalytic converters are worth a lot of money. I don't know where you would even try to sell a catalytic converter, maybe to a junkyard, maybe you got a chop shop somewhere. Regardless, this story is not very funny at all. Somebody lost their life in a horrendous way in this story, and damn, this shit is just wild. I want to share this headline with you guys real quick that says, man accused of shooting catalytic converter thief dragging body behind truck in Washington State. Folks, take a look at this psychopath right here named Michael Campbell. This dude looks straight up like a serial killer. Michael Campbell was asleep in his truck one night. Now, I don't know why he was asleep in his truck. We're not talking about an 18-wheeler. We're talking about a Ford F-150, a white one. That's an important detail to mention, as it's going to come into play a little later in this video. Now, I don't know why this man would be asleep in his truck in Washington State. Maybe there's a housing crisis up there. Maybe he was just out of town working and didn't want to pay a hotel fee. Or maybe he was homeless and all he had was his vehicle. The story doesn't make much mention of that, I don't think. But one night, while Michael Campbell was asleep in his vehicle, he awoke to a sound, possibly that of a sawzall, coming from underneath of his vehicle. Now imagine you're surprised to be woken up in the middle of a night to the sound of what the f is that? It'd be enough to scare the shit out of me, that's for sure. But when Michael Campbell was awoken by some sort of a noise coming from underneath of his vehicle, he immediately got up, opened the door, and just began shooting. Baka, 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 right there at the ground, it would seem like, when he noticed that there was a pair of legs hanging out from underneath of his truck. He must have known right then and there what was taking place. Now, the story would mention that where Michael Campbell was asleep in his vehicle, it seems like he was asleep at a truck stop or some sort of a rest area, because there would be witnesses who heard all of this commotion and gunshots taking place. Michael Campbell would, I guess, shoot this dude in the legs, whoever it was, and they actually name 40-year-old Brent Peltoma, who was the would-be catalytic converter thief. But when Michael Campbell was shooting down, he definitely struck this Brent Peltoma individual and wounded him. Now, I believe from what the story would say that Brent immediately tried to get up out of there. You know, this is a catalytic converter heist gone horribly wrong. You've now been shot, you're wounded, you gotta get the hell up out of here. Your life is in danger. You know, I think back to when I was a kid. I never stole a catalytic converter. When I say kid, I was 17, 18. In that ballpark when I was really starting to get into trouble. When trouble was my middle name. And I'm being serious about that. Me and my friends, like, the cool thing to do, we were such dumbasses, would be to go out and to try to rummage through unlocked vehicles. Since moving into my new residence where I live now, my truck has been rummaged through 4 different times. All because of me leaving my vehicle unlocked and because of a lifetime supply of karma that I'll probably deal with for the rest of my life. But anyways, while rummaging through the cars, you know, sometimes, not very often, you'd see a light flick on in the house or garage doors start to open up or somebody come out the front door and you gotta get gone. But yo, I just think back to them times, like, what if them people would have started shooting at us? Or what if I would have got killed? What if my life would have been over before it ever really began, all because I was rummaging for change inside of people's cars and money? And unfortunately, in this particular story, you know, this is what has happened to this Brett Peltoma guy, because he would get killed. And the story doesn't make much mention of whether it was the gunshot wounds that killed this guy or what Michael Campbell would end up doing next. Again, absolute psychopath, serial killer type of dude here. Michael Campbell wouldn't be satisfied with just shooting and wounding this dude. He would then tie him some sort of a way to the ball hitch on the back of his truck and then drag him, still alive, Michael Campbell would end up saying. He was still alive when I tied him up to the back of my truck. Dragging this man into a field, I don't know necessarily how far away. Let me share a little bit of what this story says. A 54-year-old man is accused of shooting and killing another man who was attempting to steal a catalytic converter from his truck, and then dragging the man's body behind the truck and dumping him into a field in Lakewood. The victim, identified by the medical examiner as 40-year-old Brent Peltoma. Michael Campbell told police that he was sleeping in his Ford F-150 around 3:45 in the morning Saturday when he was woken up by someone attempting to saw the catalytic converter off of his truck. Now again, if this was taking place up inside of a truck stop, you got to think that this Brent Peltoma dude, he had some balls to be doing this, because that shit's going to make a lot of noise. Or maybe nobody was going to notice. How do you not know that there's somebody asleep in the vehicle unless dude had tinted windows, unless you didn't even look at the truck, you just said, oh shit, that's a Ford F-150 right there. Hey, them cat joints right there, they going for like, what, $300? I don't know. You was just so hyped up to get up underneath of the truck, you never looked up inside of the truck first. And had he done so, he'd definitely still be alive. Sad enough to say. And real quick, I need to mention this also. Yes, it is tragic that this dude lost his life. However, you know, you gotta skate that line kinda tightly, right? Because what dude was doing, you risking your life anytime you're out there committing a crime, even if it's just a theft charge or a shoplifting charge. Somebody could potentially kill your ass. No matter what you're doing, if it's against the law and wrong and a crime against a business or a person. Michael Campbell told police he saw two legs sticking out from under the truck when he opened the passenger door and fired straight down. Bunga, bunga, bunga. He held court right there in the parking lot at the suspected thief. Campbell said he then fired two more shots at the man, according to court documents. And that could be potentially when this dude was trying to get the hell up out of Dodge. Now, wounded, the man attempted to get into his vehicle but collapsed. Court documents say Campbell told police he then tied the man to the ball hitch of an F-150, or his truck. Campbell said he dragged the man into a nearby field and left him. Folks, if this is not crazy enough, it only gets more disturbing, I guess, is the way to word this. You know, if Brent Peltoma didn't think anybody was going to hear him cutting off the catalytic converter, Michael Campbell damn sure wasn't thinking about that when he was bucking them buckaroos off. Bagonza! Bagonza! Because there were witnesses who heard the gunshots, who watched everything take place and basically reported exactly this verbatim to 911 dispatcher, saying that they saw Michael Campbell shoot this dude, tie him to the truck, drag him away. Then return, get up inside of Brent Peltoma's vehicle, drive that away, come back on foot, and begin picking up shell casings from the gravel parking lot right there. Witnesses saw all of this take place. And then Michael Campbell left. So you got to imagine that it's not a short time later that police are there in full presence investigating this crime scene when, I've heard it said on Criminal Minds, the perpetrator always returns to the scene of the crime. Police are there a short time later investigating the scene, talking to witnesses, when all of a sudden a white F-150 drives by. And the witness is like, yo, that's the truck right there. Michael Campbell was probably coming to his senses at that time prior to driving back, thinking to himself, I wonder if anybody saw or heard me. Might not be a bad idea to just drive by, see what's going on. Can you imagine the size of shit in this man's pants as he drove by seeing all those blue and red lights? And then thinking, okay, well, the police are there, okay, well, they don't know that it's me. And then all of a sudden you just see this big ass finger pointing right at your vehicle. Yo, right there. Oh, dookie stains. Those are going to be large ones. Campbell told police the suspected thief was still alive and talking when he was tied up and dragged to a field before being abandoned. I wonder what he was talking about. Hey man, just leave me alone, let me go, you got it. My bad. According to court documents, the truck driver was sleeping in their vehicle in the parking lot where the incident took place and was woken by a loud noise. The witness told police he saw two men in the parking lot in front of his truck and recognized one of the men as Campbell. Now, this is what he was telling the police. I guess prior to this dude being apprehended. Shortly after, documents say the witness saw Campbell get into his truck and began dragging an object behind the truck through the parking lot to a nearby field. The witness told police Campbell was in the field for about a minute before he drove back to the parking lot. The witness called 911 and narrated the events to the 911 dispatcher because of the suspicious nature, according to court documents. After Campbell returned to the parking lot, the witness said he saw Campbell get into Peltoma's vehicle, drive away, and return a few minutes later on foot. Campbell was then seen picking up items on the ground around the area and drove off in the F-150. When officers arrived, they found a significant amount of blood, drag marks, all that. Responding officers were able to locate Peltoma's vehicle from the witness description, discovered blood inside and out of it, and while officers were interviewing the witness, a white F-150 drove past the location and was pointed out by the witness. Officers pulled over the F-150, and that's how he was caught. Absolutely insane. Oh, wow, I didn't see this part. Investigators also discovered a Browning Hi-Point 9mm. I haven't heard very good things about Hi-Point firearms. Pistol in the F-150 and green rope that visibly matched rope found at the crime scene. Campbell is accused of second-degree murder and kidnapping. He also has a previous felony conviction and is prohibited from owning firearms. He's scheduled to appear in court on June the 28th, and why even bother? Dude's getting life. Kidnapping alone here in the state of Virginia can carry a life sentence. But just based upon the heinous nature of this crime, you tie anybody to a vehicle. It's one thing to shoot somebody and kill them. Yeah, that's bad enough. But when you go to the extremity, to the extreme measures of tying somebody to the back of a vehicle, you is done. Boots smoked, they ain't trying to hear nothing about, but Your Honor, the man was trying to steal from me. Done. Let this story serve as a reminder that taking the law into your own hands is still subject to get you a life sentence. And also, if you're out there stealing cat backs or cat tails or whatever you call those damn things, or anything else for that matter, just know that you are risking your life anytime you do anything that you ain't supposed to be doing, and that shit sounds scary. Live the right type of a life, for sure. Really want to hear what you guys think about this story. Please comment down below and let me know. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!